just a couple of points there. So one is the timing aspect. Since you were young and let's say a low risk profile, maybe that was a very good place to start in sort of like to have that experience early on compared to a couple of years in more is the best, right?
Yeah.
And the second part of that question was that I think there's a very good case to be made that it's if you're going to go the entrepreneurial way, to build a product that you would like as a customer seems like a very good strategy. I don't know if you agree on that point, but it seems like a very good starting point.
Yeah, it's fun to do it that way. To start a company has to be fun, because otherwise you will quit. So if it's the best way of doing it, I don't know. You have like brilliant entrepreneurs that create anything that from anything, but for me, I think it was crucial to do something where I really wanted to create the product, where I really wanted to change something, not something that I wanted to use myself, because we have always like done everything ourselves. I'm not educated in UX or UI or creating a product, but I still want to create the product myself. I don't want to hire 15 people having ideas how this should look. Me and Måns, we knew how we wanted the platform to look. So we took a pen and we took a paper and we started to drawing, basically. So yeah, for me, I love thinking about business in that naive way, is just to solve something that you wanted to be solved yourself. And I think I've talked about it quite a bit, and I think that the focus in startups today is too visionary. Everyone thinks that they have to be the next Elon Musk or the next Mark Zuckerberg or the next Daniel Ek, and that's fantastic. That's what will change the world and change big things, but all people can't be that. And it's wonderful to create a fantastic small business as well. And I think that more people should feel free to start a business without those super global fancy ambitions.
Totally agree. If we look at the products you have been building today, and you can introduce them the way you want, but I thought a good place to start was maybe to talk about the ultimate customer experience that you want to create through your products, right? Because you're trying to create products that makes the investment decisions or the way you screen the market you want to take it to a new level. So how do you define that ultimate customer experience? The
ultimate customer experience is easy. It's just we have to create products that the customers love and don't like. And that's so hard when it's a RegTech product where you should follow the new market abuse regulation, and it should be encrypted, and it should be it's not a funny thing, and you have to create something that they love anyway. So then you are always really focused on two things that always has to be there, and that's user friendliness. And user-friendliness or usability always comes from simplicity. Never, ever underestimate something being one click instead of 2 clicks, or finding it in a stressful situation or stuff like that. And the second component is customer service. That's almost every B2B company underestimates. So for us, the product, it's not just the platform or the code or the data. That's, of course, super, super important, and those aspects has to be there. But without usability and customer support, your product is nothing. So I think those are the two things that we really, really focus on as a company.
It really makes sense. Let's talk a bit about the specific products and maybe how you have decided to map them out to fit your overall structure and company.
Yeah. So we're a fairly small company to have 6 products. We're closing in on 100 million SEK in ARR. So we're not super small, but we're small. So I think to really understand what we've done here is to see it rather as a product suite than anything else, because a lot of these products evolve from the same platform and the same data. So we started off with one product. It's holdings. It's still the product that we're most known for. It's not the biggest product anymore, but it's the product we're the most known for. It's a digital database and an analytics tool for ownership data in the Nordics. So if you're a stockbroker, or if you're a fund manager, or if you're a journalist for a newspaper, you need to know, and you want to know, who's owning what, and who's buying what, and who's selling what, and so on. And that data is really, really, really hard to show in a good way. So that's what we put a lot of time into. So that's the one product in the business area that we call banks and institutions. The other product there is called Data Flow, and it's just an API version of holdings. So there we're a little bit of a one product company towards banks and institutions. On the other side, we have our investor relations portfolio of 4 different products. We have Monitor, that's also based on this ownership database, but where you put investor targeting functionality, investor relationship management, rather a CRM for your investors. So if a big large cap company in Finland or Norway or Sweden uses our product, they're actually logging the meetings they have with investors. So if they had a meeting with the Capital Group, they will log that, and they will get a push notification or a reminder that now they bought in some shares, maybe you should book a new meeting and stuff like that. So same database, new packaging, and some unique functionality on top of it.
If we talk about holdings and sort of the ownership data, like many people would say, like it seems like a problem that should be, I wouldn't say easy to solve, but definitely doable. But I know that's not the case at all. What's the easy explanation behind that, just so people truly understand why this is a very hard problem to tackle?
The easy explanation is that the clearing system in the Nordics is account data and not ownership data. So what people has been trusting as ownership data is rather the accounts where the shares are stored. And to get the right picture of an ownership list or ownership changes or a portfolio, you need to diversify your sources, and you need to use overlapping sources. So to create a large cap ownership list, we need sometimes up to 30 different sources, and 30 different sources with overlapping data. So we need to know, we need to hide these shares, show these shares, this connection needs to be like this, because this owner has 4 accounts that's where the account data is the same as ownership data, and some that's not, and it's really, really, really complex if you care about the third decimal point. If you just want an okay picture, is fairly easy, but we sell towards the people that really cares about the details, and then you have to put in the time. So we have spent 8 years now creating pretty robust and complex database structures, and we also acquired a company that's done this since 1985. So we have a lot of historical data and a lot of links in the data, and we have 6 plus 12, I would say. So 6 people working with it full time, and 12 people working with it maybe 50% of the time to do manual review. Because this is something you need to do. It's impossible if you try to automate. It's just look at the big platforms. They all have ownership data, but you can't automate it.
I mean, there is a saying from the seafood industry or the seafood exporters to Asia that some countries, they try to explain the models and how it works, and they just like point to a black box. Like something is going on, but we're not sure what's going on. How big is that black box in this field of investing? Because I guess, of course, you have to showcase the data, but there can be so many ways to, I wouldn't say trick people, but to make it so sophisticated that it actually is a black box in some way.
But it's not a black box in the way that if you have the time, I can explain it to you, but it will take a couple of hours, and I will need to show maybe 50 different examples. So in that way, it's not a black box, but it's time consuming, and it's super hard. So I would rather say that our goal from day one has to be to get the trust of the industry, and that's why we're not selling analyzed products where we say that it's this way or that way. We have to stay an objective middle in this ecosystem where we have the banks, we have the buy side, we have the financial media, we have the regulatory agencies, we have the listed companies themselves, and they're all customer to Modular Finance. But we can always just be focused on delivering tools and data and nothing more. So the advice that has to come from consultancy firms, and the price target that has to come from the banks, and the investment decision that has to come from the institutions. So we have to be a little bit focused and not carried away to do everything. We would probably be able to double our revenue really quickly if we did it all, but I think we would undermine our long-term position by doing that.